Welcome back to Success as a Real Estate Agent. So, as we proceed to explain the positives and successes of being a real estate agent, we are asking for the business. After you've overcome the seller's concerns or objections, ask for the order. In sales terms, this means asking the prospects to do business with you. At the end of a presentation, a typical salesperson close is something like, well, what do you think? It's obvious to me why the typical salesperson sells very little, winding up with a question like, what do you think? Are they asking for order or closing? Closing is making a definitive statement about your conviction that you're the right person for the job and the seller should take action now. A good closing statement goes like this. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, based on your goals, needs, and expectations, I'm confident that I'm the right person to handle the sale for you. Let's get started now. As you say, let's get started. Slide the listing agreement in front of them, hand them a pen, and smile. Most importantly, shut up, don't utter a word. Bringing the presentation to a natural conclusion. Following any major sales transaction, people feel a bit of uncertainty, a feeling of what did I just do? Preempt that fear by addressing and controlling your client's concerns before you leaving the meeting. Recap what steps will happen next and what you'll be doing for your clients in the next 24 to 48 hours. Then reassure them that they made a great decision, that you look forward to serving them and working with them, that the goals they set will be achieved, and that they selected the right agent for the job. Chapter 14. In this chapter, convincing buyers DIY is a dangerous strategy. Dealing with the NAR versus Burnett verdict fallout. Selling your value as a buyer's agent. Changing the commission decision to a contingency fee decision. Packaging a buyer to win more offers. Chapter 14. Converting buyers and sellers your value. Most agents work with more buyers during their careers than sellers. Buyers' leads are more plentiful and easier to create than seller leads. This is especially true in market cycles where the inventory of homes on the market is low and the buyer pool is high. Real estate has experienced less conditions post-COVID, and there are likely to continue for the foreseeable future. To secure loyalty or exclusivity from the buyer, you need to find a way to convey your value proposition. Services that are unique to you and how you differ from other agents. By doing this, you will increase your income, reduce your time invested, create more satisfied clients, and minimize the times you work hard for a buyer and receive nothing in compensation. In this chapter, I dive deep into working with buyers. I coach you through selling your value, replacing the commission discussion with being paid on a contingency fee basis, and packaging your buyer as the golden buyer to win more offers. Making a case against DIY. Members of Gen X, Gen Y, Millennials, and Gen Z are independent. Their knowledge of how to gather information on the internet and social media while lurking in the backyard is more advanced than older generations. That's why they often prefer a DIY model for house shopping. They believe their skill with online research enables them to gather the same information an agent can. This creates a commodity mindset. A commodity is something that you're purchased solely based on the price because all other factors are equal or offer little differentiation. Do you care about the brand of milk, eggs, butter, hardware, screws, and fasteners? Probably not. That makes them a commodity. In terms of real estate, the consumer feels that they can find the right home themselves, so that service of real estate agents has less value and is a commodity. Because of the information about homes that can be assessed through Zillow, Realtor.com, and other third parties, the consumer is empowered with information. However, in many cases, they may be experiencing information overload and suffering from confusion due to erroneous data and questionable conclusions by so-called experts. What buyers do realize is that the information that they have access to is not 100% the same as the information agents can acquire, because also lack the skill to interpret the information and the experience to perform accurate forecasting of the current market and the direction it's moving. There isn't a real estate market in the country that doesn't have a vast difference between what information the consumer has access to and what a licensed agent has access to. When you meet with a prospective buyer, point out the following things to show them that an agent's evaluation of the market is better than a DIYer's. Agents can see actual days on the market, but consumers can't. Agents have a full history of the property price reduction, past times on the market, price listing agent detailed expirations, withdrawals, cancellations, or transformations for the past. The private agent to agent comments can be more revealing than the public comments on consumer has access to. The disparity is largest if you sell real estate in non-disclosure state. The 12 non-disclosure states in the United States are Alaska, Idaho, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, New Mexico, North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming. These states do not record sales prices, terms, ownerships, or other proponent information in the country records. There's no public access to this information. If a buyer wants to know what the seller paid for the property 2 years ago, they're out of the luck unless they have an agent's help. Agents have access to the information through the property agent access. A buyer or seller looking to transact business in these states without using a quality agent to represent them is making the significant mistake in the judgment. Some buyers believe that they have some save money if they go to the listing agent directly without the assistance of a buyer. They may have heard of Burnett versus NAR, a case in which attorneys were pausing for the reduction of fees and uncoupling the buyer agent compensation from the costs to the seller. Due to the media reporting of this case, I'm sure consumers are hoping real estate agents' fees would drop, and some people will be more enabled to shop on their own. They may reach out to listing agents in the hope that they can negotiate a lower sales price or rebate or the real estate fees. When you encounter the type of buyer, try asking questions about their thoughts and strategies. Here are a few that work well. Why do you feel you will get a better deal by going directly to the listing agent? How much better do you expect to do? Do you think that the listing agent will have more loyalty to the seller or to you? How do you think that the seller loyalty will affect the sales price, other terms, and over sale values? Once you know a buyer's reasoning behind the DIY focus, you can use them. Explain your perspective and value. If they give you an opening, book a face-to-face appointment or at least a Zoom or face-to-face appointment. During the appointment, you can really convey your value. Let me caution you. Some people can be convinced DIY is not in their best interest and others can't. If you can't convince them to book an appointment with you to hear what you have to offer, don't waste your time pursuing them beyond a few calls and asks. Burnett versus NAR. At the time of the writing, the judge has approved the settlement of the Burnett versus NAR suit. Although it's not finalized and implemented, here are the 2 changes that should be implemented by the time this book publishes. The buyers must sign a buyer's agency contract before being shown a house. The full parameters of the agency contract have yet to be spelled out. My opinion is that it will be for a specific house for a short duration, possibly one day, or both. The interested buyer could seek out the listing agent who could show them the home as an unrepresented buyer. The buyer, if they like the home, could make an offer through the listing agent as an unrepresented buyer. They could also select an agent to represent them to write and negotiate the contract on their behalf. The second significant agreed upon change is the buyer's agent commission amount will no longer be shared in the multiple listing service. An agent who wants that information will need to inquire to the listing agent directly or check the listing brokerage website. The seller has an option to offer 0 buyer commission, which they had the right to do previously. My belief is if a seller chooses to not offer a commission, they will significantly reduce the number of buyers looking at their home because some buyers lack the funds for down payment. Closing costs and their agent representation fees is cash. Although the trial attorneys, media, and many realtors are reacting like Chicken Little and yelling at these monumental changes. I believe the changes are just a small adjustment for many agents. For those agents who were securing buyer agency contracts earlier in the working with a client, it's honestly no big deal. Sorry, I feel like I need to breathe for a minute. I'm gonna take a little break. Thanks for watching, and check out my other videos. Please keep enjoying Success with Real Estate and my yoga. Bye. Subscribe.